Hey everybody. I recently picked up a couple subs, and like I usually do when I pick up subs, I go and I see if these people have videos on YouTube, and if they do, I subscribe back. And one of the people that recently subbed me was Wednesday Serial. Now, I've heard a lot of people talking, like conversation. They'll address something that he talked about in one of his videos or whatever. Like the live chat I did a couple days ago with Scott and Tylox and Howler Mouse. I wasn't on very long. And Comics 1904 was there for a little bit too, but I'm not sure he made it into... We had some technical problems, but he was hanging out with us before we got everything fixed. But anyway, so Wednesday Serial just put out a video where he talked about Descender. And he brought up a couple interesting points. But first I want to talk about Descender before I get to the interesting points that he talked about, because I think he might be onto something. The first time I read it, I got about halfway in, and I just kind of gave up. I didn't even get halfway in. I don't think I got to the staples. I think I got like 6 pages in, and I was like, oh my god, I just don't have... It wasn't in me. I don't know if it was just long day at work, or just didn't care, or what it was, but it didn't grab me. Now, my track record with Jeff Lemire is a little iffy anyway. I have read some of his... I'm just moving this thing all around. Sorry. I did read a large portion of his Sweet Tooth, and I picked up Trillium back when it was coming out monthly, and I have to say Trillium is probably on my list of least favorite books ever. So I don't know. And I read some of his Green Arrow stuff, but a lot of his writing I don't get. It's not that I don't get it. I just don't care. I'm not really a fan of his. Nothing against him. But I guess Trillium just left a really bad taste in my mouth. But I did drop a bunch of books, and I kind of promised myself I wasn't going to get into anything new and just finish off what I was working on. But I found myself at the shop. I really wanted to just buy some comics. Not my shop, but another shop. And I dug through the back issue bin a little bit. Didn't really find anything. I didn't have a lot of time to dig through like the dollar bins, which is like my favorite thing to do at comic shops. But I did pick up Descender, and I picked up Jupiter's Legacy. This is the final issue from book 1 of that. We'll talk about Jupiter's Legacy maybe later. But okay, so there's that. My Jeff Lemire perspective, I guess. As far as science fiction goes, I'm a fan. Blade Runner, movie-wise, is one of my favorites. I've read a lot of Philip K. Dick stuff, and I don't know. I'm all over the place in my prose, but comics-wise, I guess there's not a lot of science fiction comics in my collection. I don't know. I mean, it's all kind of science fiction-y anyway. But regardless, one of the things he was talking about was how... I might be paraphrasing him here, but he did ask if anybody had an opinion on this to either, post a comment or share a video. And I've had problems lately. I'll watch a video, and there'll just be like so much cool stuff I want to comment on. And when it actually comes time for me to make a comment, it'll usually just be like awesome, because I'm more or less just like blown away, or I'm still processing what it is I saw. And since up until lately I haven't had a lot of time to just sit and enjoy YouTube like I used to, it's all kind of been like I could spend 30 minutes collecting my thoughts to make some concise and thoughtful comments, or I could just go awesome, because awesome kind of sums it up anyway. So what Wednesday Serial was talking about, and I apologize for digressing again, was the way books are published. I'm thinking it's not like the format and the paper stock and everything else. It's just there's some stuff out now that could totally just be a graphic novel, and I'm not talking like a trade as in a collection of 6 issues or 8 issues or whatever. I'm talking like straight up graphic novel. I think there's a market for that. I know there's some people that might be a little apprehensive about spending 16, 18, 32 bucks or whatever on a graphic novel. And just, stay with me here. I'm going to refer to, let's say, 120 pages of original story that haven't been serialized into a monthly book collected into one volume as a graphic novel versus like here's a perfect example. This is a trade because this is a collection of single issues. This is a graphic novel. Okay? Just to clarify my thought process here. For me, that's how I refer to that. I know Marvel in the past has put out some graphic novels, like Road to Perdition, and that kind of thing. They did the whole black and white kind of film noir style line. I mean, I've picked up a bunch of them from the library, but there's Road to Perdition is the one that really stood out. History of Violence, that kind of thing. But I do think there's a market for that. I'm kind of bummed out that more books aren't put out like that. And I'm not talking about like the 100-page Dark Horse Presents. I'm talking like legitimate graphic novel. You have people now who write 6 books a month or whatever, and I get that it would be unfeasible for an artist to do like a monthly title and then crank out, I don't know, it would probably take 8 months to do a book, a graphic novel, okay, of any considerable length, and then let alone put the schedule of doing a monthly book on top of that. That just sounds daunting. And I know I couldn't go 8 months without a paycheck, so I'm sure that's probably the problem with a lot of this. Excuse me. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't be interested in seeing it. Because there are people that have done it in the past. There's a lot of small press indie stuff, but, on the level of the people that are professional artists that work at Marvel and DC and Image and IDW and Boom and everybody else, everybody's got bills. So that might be the only one of the reasons why it's not happening. As far as like the way it would be received, I think a lot of people would be into it. I would be into it. You look at, first thing popped in my head was Wake, as far as like miniseries. Now, there wasn't a lot of you read an issue and you have to catch up with what happened in the previous one. It's kind of like a hiccup in a story rather than just going. They kind of digress and continue, If it was a graphic novel and the story was just linear, you could get more content in without having to flash back to what you missed in the previous issue or what you read in the previous issue. It just seems like a more enjoyable way of doing it. I've picked up recently the first trade of Alex plus Ada, and I think that would totally read better in a thicker... the trade in that was great. There's no way I would want to read that book monthly because it's slow? Not slow, but it's a really quick read. The first volume of Alex plus Ada occupied my time for probably 20 minutes. So 20, it's 6 issues. That's 3 minutes a book, roughly. And every month, just investing 3 minutes into a new book when I would rather just read 120 pages consecutively. I think that would lend to like stronger storytelling. You'd be more invested in the characters. You would be, I don't know, Why the Last Man, for example. I think that would work. They did a lot of digress, like in the previous issue, Yurik and 66 are on the train. I hope her name was 66. Train blows up, end of the issue. Next issue, they're showing the same explosion. And then there's them getting out of that situation, for example, paraphrasing. But he brought up an interesting point. And I just kind of, rather than made a comment, which would be awesome, I decided to just do this video. Hopefully this all makes sense. Starting a job today, I'm kind of excited, so I'm a little wired. But, yeah. I totally think there would be a market for longer not longer, but more for graphic novels versus just the monthly title. That's what I'm saying. And you have the people out there that are capable of writing a 120-page consecutive story versus 24 pages break, 24 pages break, 24 pages break, 24 pages break. Do you see what I'm saying? So, yeah. I'd like to see it. It's probably not going to happen, but it would still be cool to see. So, there's my 2 cents. I was going to ramble a little bit more about a bunch of other stuff, but I think I'm going to stop there. So yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks everybody for the subs and the comments and all the jazz and the videos, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.